every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. What an honor it is to serve and to be served. I do have a special guest. I always say I have a special guest because everybody that comes on is special to me because you're special to God. But not only that, but I've known this young lady for years. We've actually lost touch for a moment of time, but definitely not in our hearts. Definitely not in our hearts. So it might get a little personal up in here tonight. I may drop a tear or two, but listen, if you've been here before, you know that ain't nothing new. Y'all know I am very transparent, very raw, very real. So I don't hold back. I don't hold back in the spirit. I don't hold back in the natural. And if a tear wanna fall, baby, I'm finna let it fall in Jesus' name. So I'm going to introduce to you my guest, Kayla Floyd. Hello, Kayla. To God
Hi.
be the glory. I thank you so much for agreeing to come on to share your testimony with us tonight. And we're just going to flow as the Holy Spirit leads us. So, as usual, I want to shout out those that are coming in. I want to say hello to you. Make sure you tell me what city you're coming from, what state you're coming from. For all of our faithful followers and the freedom fighter community, thank you for sowing in time. Thank you for sowing seeds of support. Thank you for sowing even financial seeds, all of the things that people have done to uplift and to support this ministry over the years. And so I am very, very, very grateful to you, all of you, for your support of this ministry. So, like, subscribe, share this broadcast. I want to say hello to my listeners in TikTok land and Facebook. Actually, we're not on TikTok, I think, tonight, but Facebook and YouTube land and all over the land. Glory be to God. So, if you're listening to our digital media streaming platforms on Apple, iTunes, or Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. So I want to say hello to all of you. We have quite a global reach that's continuing to expand and grow. And so I see a lot of you in Africa, all different parts of Africa, South Africa, the UK, and Canada. That following out there is growing rather rapidly, and a number of other places and cities all across the nation. So thank you to all of you, not only within the United States but outside of the United States. Hi, Naomi. How are you from British Columbia, Canada? Yes, yes, Naomi. Thank you so much for coming on and partnering with us here tonight as we share and give testimony. So let's introduce Kayla. And I want you to just tell them a little bit about yourself and we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay. I'm Kayla. I live in Georgia. I have known Apostle Tina. It's so weird to say Apostle Tina, but I
I
have
know.
known her since I was, I think, 18. I met her when I was 18, and I do hair. So we met because her cousin, was it your cousin?
It's my
Your cousin,
cousin.
yeah, your cousin introduced me as someone that does hair, and I just I just was clinging to her. She was the sister, the big sister. I do have a big sister, but she was like the big sister that I've always wanted. And so I was going through a lot of personal things, but she was very welcoming, and she did not judge me. She just welcomed me in with open arms. And so life started happening. I got pregnant, and she just, she just was there for me when all my family and then we're kind of like distant. She was there. So yeah, she was in the hospital room with me when I had my first child.
Yes.
So this was very, very personal. Like she said, we kind of, lost touch. Nothing, personal, just life happened. My family continued to grow. And she moved, and life just happened. But I have always like followed her closely. Um and I just watched this ministry grow, and I was just blown away. Like, oh my God, like this is Tina, like this is my Tina, like she's doing big things. And so I had never really I heard of Deliverance, but there were just so many things that I was learning. Like it started with me just listening to the podcast. I'm like, this is some interesting stuff that I've never heard of, and I've been in church like my entire life, but these are just things like that I've never heard of, like with the courts of heaven and all of these different. So I was really intrigued. I was really intrigued, and I feel like even the podcast kept me entertained in a good way, because I started to change. Like I want to be mindful of what I'm feeding my spirit,
Yeah,
and so I'm like, it still contain your personality. So I'm like, I can still laugh, but it's not like gossipy. It's like, okay, this is good for my spirit. I can take it in, but it also felt very personal. So I use that podcast to like get me through some changes, because like I wanted a change. Like I really wanted a change. And then I don't know, I started probably about a year and a half ago. I actually was thinking about deliverance, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like
what?
I don't know what that means. But I'm following this. I'm like, hearing the testimonies. I'm like, I think I want that, but I'm not sure. Like, I think I want it. So I was following for a while, and it took me a minute, but I finally was like, you know what? This is something that I want to do. And I felt like I am safe. This is Tina that we talking about. So I'm safe here. Like, I don't have to worry about all those, because I didn't see some deliverances on YouTube and TikTok and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, but I just felt safe, because I'm like, I know who this is. I know that she's pure and genuine in heart. Like, so I can trust it. And I just waited for that fear to leave me, because I had thought about it for a while, but I'm like, no, I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And I made up in my mind, and I did the intake, and it was just up from
It
there.
was up
It
from
was
there.
up from there. Oh my goodness.
God.
So,
It's so crazy because, I know I said that tonight is extra special to me, and everybody I encounter is special to me because that's just kind of like
mm,
my personality. I just, and that, right? Like, I
mhm,
really
mhm.
cling and embrace and love and
Yeah.
and a lot of people and it's been good for me and it's been not so good for me, right? It's put me in some positions
Mhm,
to be hurt. It's put me in some positions to be betrayed and disappointed. And there's also been some lifelong friendships and family that I have cultivated in just
mhm.
being a light and just being open, right? And things like that. Now I did learn boundaries over the years, and that sort of thing. But with you, it was so organic. It was so organic.
Mm,
There's just some people you meet because initially when we met, Kayla, it was just straight up like I need my hair did, I need my
yeah.
hair braided type of thing. And it's funny, my hair is braided now, so don't judge my braids. Don't judge my
I'm not.
don't listen, listen, and I ain't trying to gas you, but I'm gonna give you all the 93 premium tonight because when it comes to these braids, because one of my spiritual daughters, I've talked about you from the day since I met you. People that don't know you know of you because once
Yeah.
I moved from Georgia, and I didn't have a braider, right? For years, I didn't get my hair braided for years
Oh
because
my
I compared
goodness.
everybody to you. I compared everybody. So I just didn't get my hair braided. I had decided, like not too long ago, one time I did it, like I went to some Africans or something like a couple years ago, did it that one time, never went back. And I was
Mhm.
telling my spiritual daughter, I was like, you don't know what braiding is like till you get your hair braided by Kayla, right? So I went and found these old pictures from like 15 years ago. Because what people don't know,
Oh my.
listen, you were like when I was 18, you were 18 when I met you, but
Uh-huh.
you're 30 now, right?
I'm
You're
30. I'll be 31 in
okay,
November. Isn't
okay.
that
So
crazy?
I can't believe it, right? Because you were
I
just
know.
graduating from high school. And
Literally, yes.
yeah, you did. And I remember my cousin introduced me to you and said she really does good braids. She does good hair. And I sat down, I made my appointment, got my hair done. I didn't you was braiding my hair for a good 10 minutes. I didn't know you were braiding my hair. And I said, and I turned around and I said, are you braiding my hair? And you looking at me like, yes, right? And I'm
Yes.
telling you, it felt like these just like little bitty tickles. Like it felt, and I mean, these braids, y'all, were supreme. I'm talking about these braids were so tight and so right. I was like, what? I have never experienced
Oh
this in all of my days. And so I was just so, and you were, and back then, this was back then, like you was
mm-hmm.
doing
Right.
long braids for me, like back before it was
Right.
really popular like it is now. I was like, oh, I want my braids long. I was all about the mermaid length, you know. And God forbid today, but I was all about it. And you were just like all in. You're like, whatever you want, I'll do it. Like whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
we bonded. We bonded over braids initially, right? We bonded over braids,
Literally.
but literally became family. There was a season which you were my nanny for my kids,
Literally.
and you were
Yes.
getting, you were doing meals and getting them off the bus, and so
Oh
we
my God.
literally became family. So when it was time for me to move out of that state, I remember how hard that was, how hard that
Mm,
was for me and how hard it was for you.
yes.
Because
Don't make me cry. I'm on this thing.
you
Oh.
trying to cry.
Yeah.
I just remember some of your voicemails and you would just be crying. And I just sometimes I would be afraid to call you back because I didn't want you to cry more. You were just like, what am I gonna do? And you would just be
Oh my
crying.
goodness.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I learned about soul ties way later, and about relationships, godly ones and ungodly ones. And I remember when I was doing, and you don't know this, but I'm sharing it with you now. I remember when I was preparing the teaching on ties and soul ties and friendships, and the Lord had allowed me to go back into time, because sometimes we will always focus on the bad and we don't really look at what's good, what good came out of our life. And so you were one of those memories that the Lord brought to my remembrance, of those that I helped, or those that became a part of my life for some reason or another, and how he used us. So to see today, full circle, right? I don't know how many 18, y'all count 18 to 31, but to turn around full circle and to see your face now. And I'm in a different place now than I was when you met me, right? But it's funny because you were like, but you still Tina. You was
You
like, but
still, 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 Tina.
you're like, you're still Tina. And sometimes it's refreshing because it's good to see people who knew you in other stages, right?
Mhm.
Who knew you when, and don't hold it against you, right? Like I remember when you weren't
Mhm.
so saved and sanctified.
Mhm.
I remember when sort of thing, but that people still saw you as
Yeah.
God created you. And that's how I
Mhm.
saw you when I met you. And I know
Wow.
you made mention to being broken,
Mhm.
and that sort of thing, but I didn't see a broken young lady. I didn't.
Girl, you need some glasses then. Girl, I don't know what lenses you was looking through.
You don't know. Yeah, I know what you were going through, but tell people a
Yeah.
little bit about that time. That time,
Okay.
maybe a tough time in a season where people can identify with, okay, transition, and then coming into the place of desiring deliverance.
Okay. So I've had a, I don't want to say I had a bad childhood. It was rough emotionally because I didn't really express myself, and I wasn't a troubled child. I wasn't a troublesome child. So I was always very like dismissed and pushed to the side because it's like, okay, she doesn't have bad grades. She isn't getting in trouble. I was always a rule follower. I did not like to get in trouble. So I was very much like, like I'm still like that. I'm still like that. Like, no. So I really wasn't a problem, child. So I was just, everything was kind of like pushed under the rug for me. So a lot of my pain was, I silenced it because I didn't feel like I had a voice. Actually, what happened, I got molested as a child and I spoke up about it. And when I did, I was told, like, hey, if anything ever happens to you like that, it's because you caused it. Like, it's because you were being grown. And so I feel like in that moment, it took my voice away. And I'm like, okay, so I can't really speak because I felt like I did the right thing. So from that moment on, and it happened so many other times and so many, until I was 19, it
Oh,
happened to me. And I just didn't speak up. I silenced, like, that took my voice away, and it silenced me from speaking up on anything that hurt me, anything that bothered me, and I just would deal with it internally. And I really didn't have a safe space because I've always felt like I was beyond my years. And so anytime I would try to talk to an adult, they looking at me like, what in the world? Like, why are you asking these questions? And I'm just like, I don't bond with people my age because they're worried about things that I don't even care about. But anyway, so basically, like, emotionally, I felt very alone, like
mm,
very young, and it kind of just, carried, it grew with me, that loneliness. Even though I had a big family, my mom has 8 children and we were all together. So but I still felt like the outsider. I feel like very pushed to the side. um and my parents ended up separating. And like I said, my mom was now a single mom of 8. And so we fell into some hard times, and we ended up having to separate because we lost our house. And so it left me like kind of bouncing around. And there was some things that I never told my mom. I stayed behind. She was in South Carolina, and I stayed behind because she was supposed to come back when school started, but I begged her to let me go ahead of her because by the time she was going to get to back to Georgia, we were going to be 2 weeks into school, and I was a nerd. Okay, and I'm like, Mama, I can't be behind with my honors classes. Like, I can't be behind. Like, can you just let me go ahead and go with your friend? So I was able to go and live with a friend of hers, and like a few days before she was supposed to move, like, our truck got repoed, so I got stuck. And I was on my own, like, at 16. So I was just supposed to be a quick, like, okay, I'm just kind of here till my mom gets here. And then it just went from me literally bouncing from house to house to house. I had no stability. Um, at all. I didn't live with so many of my classmates in high school, spend 3 weeks over here, then 2 weeks over here, like, not really eating. My brother would come and visit, and I'll be like, a toothpick. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, Vienna sausages and crackers. That's my meal. Like, that's all I'm eating. So I was very, like, I was alone, and I felt like I love my mom. I love my mom. There's no disrespect to my mom, but I always felt like I was always emotionally stronger than my mom. So there were
mm,
things that were happening that I just could not tell her. I felt like I got to deal with it on my own. Like, yeah, your best friend that I stayed with mistreated me. Like, she treated me like a dog, but I'm not gonna tell you that. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things. I was getting molested by some of the people that I was staying with, but now being of age, like, I didn't know how to say, like, hey, your husband is touching, because I'm an adult now, and I didn't want it to flip on me, and I didn't have nowhere to go. So by the time I met you, I actually, the last house that I was staying in, there his mom was a nurse, and that's where my addiction started because she had a
mm.
medicine cabinet full of medicine, and
I,
I would open it and I
I
would read. I didn't care what it was. If I read the symptoms would make me drowsy or make me numb, I would take it. I would take it. I didn't care what it was. I didn't think about the symptoms, if it was gonna mix with that. And man, I just didn't care. I just wanted to be numb. So that started, and I had a bad breakup, and then it just, I ended up, I was just, a lot of things I just didn't remember because I was numb. I just was
mm-hmm.
numb. I was popping. It didn't matter what, if it was a Benadryl, it didn't matter, Tylenol PM. I don't care what it was. And then eventually it led to Percocets, or the oxys. Like, I just wanted to be numb. I did not care. So by the time I met you, um, you just, oh my God, no, don't cry. You just felt like home. Like you felt like home. Like you felt like love and family, like all the things that
You
I
made
was.
me cry.
No, I'm sorry. Woo, Jesus. All the things that I had been missing for years. And so like the I still like I said, you're still Tina, like that, just super
Yeah.
like assertive, like just being how you are, just this big ball of just real genuine love. Like, and I needed that so bad. And I thank God for that because I didn't expect to find that in a person. I feel like I have been looking for that in a man, in a male. So it was very just refreshing and unexpected. And I just like, I didn't want to go home. I don't care if your braids is gonna be to the floor and around the corner. I was gonna be waiting because you get in your head. I'm being filled. Like I'm being filled. I'm accepted. It's like you looked at me and you saw me for me. Like you loved me for me, and you were just there. Like I never felt like anyone had my back, but you, like you had my back. And so when you left, oh my God, I was devastated. I was devastated. And I did cry a lot. Like I did cry a lot. And I feel like my sister was kind of a little bit jealous because she lived around the corner. And I'm just like, she's my sister. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is my sister. Like, she's been there through all of it. But I just, honestly, this is the God honest truth. Like, I have never met anybody like you in my life. And so I just felt like there is no way like God is going to like grant me another person that treated me the way that you did. Like, and it wasn't like you were like a big sister, but not the big sister that just, okay, we can do this and sneak and I'm gonna let you do whatever. No, it's the sister that's like, no, you doing this, you don't need to be doing. But it was like out of love, like you corrected me out of love, so I could just kind of take it like, okay, you right, I shouldn't be doing this, but you know what I'm saying. So that sisterhood was something that I was always trying to find, like, but I just could not find it. So everything just got worse. I didn't feel like I could trust. I went back to being silent. And
Mhm.
then my marriage, like I did get married, I did have children, and then that just, oh Jesus, that's a whole another thing. But
Right.
I just got worse with the pills. Like I got worse with the pills. And there was one day I went to church. I actually was contemplating suicide. I was really contemplating suicide. And I remember being in my bathroom. I had my baby, my 6-year old now, she was a baby, and my two
Right.
oldest,
Right.
Raylan and Kirsten, they were in the room. And I just remember being in the bathroom and crying, and I was literally hearing voices. Like I heard a conversation and there was one voice, but it wasn't like evil, like I mean, of course it was evil, but it wasn't like a scary like demonic voice, but I know the words were not of God. So there was
Mhm.
one voice that was saying like, hey, like your kids need you. Like there's no one that's gonna love you. There's no one gonna love them like you. Like they need you. Like all these positive things. And in the same sense, like there's another voice telling me, like, it's okay. Like your mom can take care of them. It was like just the opposite, but it's not a scary voice. So I heard the conversation like going back and forth, and I was about to scream, like, and I went like this because it sounded like blah, 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 like it just was getting louder and louder and louder. And so I
Wow.
covered my ears, and this was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I heard my son get out of the bed, and he said, "Mommy, mommy." And I'm like looking around like, "Mommy, like what do you mean? Like you were in the bed like sleeping." Like, and I don't know how that door opened because I locked the door, and my son and my daughter, they were looking around looking for me in the room. They were like walking down the hallway looking for me. They came in the bathroom where I was, and my son was like, "Mom," and they're probably like 3. He was like 3 or 4. It's like, "Mommy, why are you crying? Why are you crying?" And so I just was like hugging on them because their voices ended up distracting me from the voice, because I was siding with that voice to take my life. I was starting to, because it sounded soothing. It wasn't like scary to be like, "Ooh, no." It was soothing. Like I was reasoning with that. Like, you know what? My kids will be okay. Like it is okay. Like I can do this. But my kids walked in that room and they're like, "Well, let's go watch a movie." Like, okay. So I just was like, Lord, once I got up from there, I prayed to God and I said, I'm going to go to church tomorrow because I was on a Saturday night. And I said, if I don't hear anything, if I don't get a word from you, God, like, this is it. I can't do no more. I can't take no more. If I don't hear nothing, this is it. And so I pulled myself up that next day. I didn't do my hair. I didn't put on clothes. I went all the way in the back of the church and I sat there and I waited and I did not get a word. I did not get a word. So I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, like this is it for me. This is it. Church was over. We're doing altar call. And this lady walks up to me, puts her hand on me and starts praying, and she's talking about my self-esteem and how I feel like she just kept telling me that those pills, you need to put those pills away because the enemy is trying to take you out in your sleep. She said there's a suicide demon that haunts you. He follows you and he tries to take you out while you are asleep. And so she said when you go home, you throw all those, don't you take another pill because you will die. Like you're gonna die. The way I was taking those Percocets, the way I was taking those Percocets, I should have been dead. Like I should have been dead. But glory to God, He spared me. And
My
so I didn't get the word that I was looking for, but I got a word. And I stopped with the pills. I did stop with the pills, but it was just a struggle. It was a struggle because I was so used to wanting to numb my pain. My body could not tell the difference between physical pain and emotional pain. So
my
I
God.
felt justified in taking the pill because I'm like, I am hurting. I am in pain. Pop the pill. But it was like, no, it's not physical. It's here, but it felt physical. It felt physical. So it was years of that struggle. Like I said, then I ended in, you know, having to go through separation, and the separation is what got me here because I started, just saying, God, I need to change. I need to
Yeah.
change. I don't want to be mad anymore. I don't want to be sad anymore. I don't want to be dealing with anxiety and being angry towards my kids and just being unhappy. I know that there is more to life than this. Like I know there is. And so I started fasting. God just started calling me to fast. Like, and I didn't understand how or how long it was. I just let me fast. And when I
Wow.
started fasting, God God started revealing things to me.
Wow.
And when you fast, you better be ready for what's coming because I was not ready. I'm like, Lord, there is no way that this is true. That there's no way that this is what you're showing me. And the more I fasted, the more I was leaning to God, the more I felt like my life was falling apart. I'm like, no, like this is my family. Like, why are you? But it's because the veil was, I
Come on.
confused. And now I'm like, Lord, wait, hold on. Let me put that back. I couldn't unsee. I could not unsee. And I just felt like I have been living a lie. Like I've been living in this mirage of things. And this is why I'm so unhappy. This is why, because it's a whole bunch of stuff that I've been living in. And now that I fasted, I've been able to take a step back and I can just see. And I'm like,
Mm.
Lord, I need a way out. I need a way out. This is not okay. Like I said, I was fasting continuously. We ended up separating. I got my own place. And we tried to, work things out, but it's just like every time I tried, it was just something that just didn't sit right. In my dreams, I just was having crazy dreams. And I actually told him about the deliverance. And I'm like, hey, this is something that I want to do. Like, will you do it with me? And
Right.
so he, I was sold. Like, it's time now. It's time. But he was kind of like, well, I gotta see. And I'm like, what is there to see? We need deliverance. Like, what do you mean? What is there to see? And so it was just like, mm-mm. So I see what you're doing. So I was actually, some of the questions was like, okay, you need to get your spousal's like support. And I'm like, you not about to hold me up for my deliverance? Like, we
No.
live apart. Like, you
Uh-huh.
don't get a say so in this. I will put your name down, but you don't get a, if I gotta sign your signature, what? I will do it. Okay. I will sign it. We are one on this paper. I will sign it on behalf of you.
She said, well, legally. My God. Come
Right,
through.
exactly. Yes. So I did. I was like, listen, these are a lot of questions, Lord, but I'm gonna do it. And it was a lot of questions.
It
And I
was.
didn't I got stuck at the question that said, what is your family's secret? Like what is the like a secret in your and I'm just like, a secret? Like what? I don't know. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, like, let me ask you because I don't know. And I just feel like there's so many things swept under the rug in families. I
Yes.
ask God, why I be asking God stuff? Because He be telling me, and I'll
Yes.
not be ready. So I asked, and he told me the secret. And I'm like, Lord, what I'm gonna do with this? I had a dream, and it was so perverted. I didn't even want to share. And so I'm like, there's
Mhm.
no way that nobody's gonna tell the truth about this. But I prayed about it, and I'm like, well, maybe that is the family secret. But a lot of those questions had me digging like into things, and I'm like, dang, like, well, this did happen when I was a child. Things that I did not remember that was like I was sitting with that thing, and it kind of like made some feelings come up because I'm
Mm.
like, I haven't thought about this in a really long time. Like, I forgot that I felt abandoned for this long. Like, I forgot that I was, all of these things were like coming up. So, even though I was doing this intake, I was feeling all of these feelings. I'm like, if I don't get approved real soon for this deliverance, we about to have a problem because y'all got me on pins and needles, shaking in my boots about all of this stuff. You done brought to the service. Y'all better deliver me. Okay. I just better get delivered. So I did it. I did. I finished it. And I was waiting. I was like, crackhead behavior waiting. I was checking my emails like I am ready. And I started preparing. My mind was so made up like this is what I'm going to do and I don't care what it costs.
Amen.
This is what I'm going to do. I was ready. I was ready. So I'm like I didn't see the testimonies. I know she about to make me fast. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but let me start. So I started like, okay, this person said they couldn't watch TV. Let me pull back from the TV. Let me like I started preparing myself because I did not know how long it was going to I did not know how long it was going to be. I was at my sister's house and I got the email and me and her were having a conversation. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go right now. Like I gotta go. And I didn't even read it. I mean, watch like get the email in the full content because once I saw that it was time, I'm like, I'm not about to talk to none of y'all. I'm going home. I'm gonna start. I didn't know what to expect, but when I tell you I was ready,
Yes.
ready. I was ready. I'm sorry. I just be talking.
No, no,
So
no. This is your testimony. I want you to talk. So please, you're free to
I
talk.
was about to
Please.
say you can prompt me. You can prompt me with another question.
No, 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 no. I talk enough. Okay. I talk all the time. I have a
This is
podcast. So the
you see why
testimony
we
is
would
your,
see
yeah,
why
it's
we
your
would be doing
testimony to
hair for
give.
so long because this ain't nothing new. This is just what we would do anyway. Now we just
Exactly. If we were in the same room together, it probably be
okay.
a lot more fully clowning, right? Because we were the queens of clowning, you
Right.
know, because you had such a sense of humor. You like to joke around and play a lot.
Yes,
You
I
like,
did.
and
I
I
still
did
do.
too, right?
My kids got
So
a childish mom.
yeah,
I got a childish mom.
but we used to have a lot of fun. We definitely used to have a lot of fun. But I'm so excited to hear like how the unfolding, just how you evolved over time. I
Mm-hmm.
do remember, and not to take you back to this, but
Go
I
take me
do
back to my life.
remember when you first disclosed to me and where we were. We were sitting in your little Volkswagen, I think, or your Beetle, or maybe my car.
Mm-hmm.
I just
No,
remember
it's
we were in the
in
car.
a car.
It was in the car. And I
Mhm,
remember when you told me, because it was a secret, I did not know. Like I had no idea. I picked you up from,
mhm,
the lady, that house.
mhm.
You know who
Yeah.
we talking about. And
Yeah,
so
girl.
I picked you up. I had picked you up from there. And I just remember you breaking down in the car, right? Just
Um,
breaking down. And you was like, I got something to tell you.
mhm,
I have something to tell you. And I'm like, like what, because and you were like, I've been taking pills, and I've been, and I remember I was like, oh my Lord, and of course I was a nurse at the time, so I
Yeah,
understood.
Penny. I'm just playing.
But I just, the look in your eyes, like the look in your eyes that day, I'll never forget it. And it was in the dark, baby. Your eyes was like I need you to listen to me.
I
Like
need
it,
help, right? This is
it was a cry for help. Like
it
it
was.
literally was a cry for help. And I remember when it was time for me to move, being concerned about it. Like when I
Mhm.
left town, and I was like, I wonder what's going to happen. Like, I would have never, I'm listening to your testimony about this demon of death,
Mhm.
and the continued pill addiction over time, which is no longer, glory be to God.
Amen. Yes,
But
Lord.
I'm just feel like I'm trying not to cry and break down in front of these people, because yes, this is a testimony that you're giving, but I was a part of that, of your life, of that journey,
Mhm.
and that God will position me, right, to be. I never knew that this was a part of my destiny when we met, right? Like
Girl.
I never knew that, full circle, that I would be a part of what you needed even now, to take you through deliverance, which is God. It's not, I didn't
God
deliver.
didn't know. I mean, you didn't know, but God knew. He
God
knew.
knew.
He
He
knew.
knew. We knew that we were meant to be in each other's lives, because it was so
Mhm.
organic and free flowing, and we knew that we were family. We knew that we loved each other and all of this, but only God knew that freaking 15 years later,
Ooh,
that
Lord.
He would use me in a place to literally bring your deliverance full circle. Glory be to God, because it's Him, not I. It's all Him. And so, listening to how you were preparing for your fast, and all of these sorts of things, there's been times where this journey has been tough for me as well. Like, why am I doing this? And this is so hard, and and all of the things that the enemy has said to me, in
Mhm.
my journey in ministry. And it's these testimonies, not just the personal ones like yours is, but it's these testimonies and the people, the fruit that I see around me, with the people that are like, you don't even know what you did for my life. I don't know if you remember. No, you didn't know Michelle, but there was another young lady that met me before you who was like you. Um,
Mhm.
and I reacquainted with her in Cali, like a year or two ago, and she, like
Mhm.
you, I haven't seen in years.
Mhm.
And when I saw her, she was like, can we go to dinner? And we went to dinner, and she went to pay for my food, and I was like so shocked. Like, I was like, oh my God, thanks for dinner. And she was like, are you kidding me? She was
Right.
like, all of the meals you
I
prepared
was
for me? She was
all the
like,
meals. Mm. The meals. The naps on the couch, Lord.
I love it. I love it. But she was like, the least I could do is buy your dinner, and buy your dinner. So she was just telling me how much I had changed her life, and how much I
Mhm.
had, all that I had done for her. And she says, I'm who I am today. It's because of you, and it's like sometimes we don't see our worth. We don't see, what God has put inside of us, and we don't see what people need. So all of the years that the enemy tried to take you out, right? There, you only saw yourself in the moment. You didn't see 15 years down the road, right? You don't see 10 days down the road. You don't see that, because you're so into what you can see. But the
Right.
invisible realm, the unseen realm, is so vast and so great and so big. And God purposed you for a purpose. He created you for a purpose. He put you here because, just like I was that for you, you are that for someone else. If you haven't
Mhm.
already been that, right? If it's for nothing other than for your children, if it's for your grandchildren, if it's for someone that you have yet to meet, Kayla, right? And so this is why the enemy wants so much to cause division and discord, and,
Mhm.
and bring death, right? Spiritual death and natural
Yeah.
death. because he wants to stop God's destiny and plan for your life. And so I'm just so gracious and grateful to God tonight for
Mhm.
what you shared so far of your testimony, that even in absence, right? Even in those years that I was not there as your big sister, that
Mhm.
God is always there. He never leaves us, He never forsakes us. He's always there. And our Father, our
Mhm.
brother, right? Our daddy in heaven,
Yeah.
He literally, you belong to Him. And so,
Yes.
though I was a part of that, and you were like, "What am I gonna do? You're leaving me. I don't know what's gonna happen with my life,"
Right.
right? God is
Girl,
like, it's me, and it's
it's
always
me.
been me, and
It's
it
me.
will always continue to be me. So, I hope
Mhm.
that somebody can see, see that in your testimony tonight, to see that
Mhm.
even, your most trusted, most beloved thing, or it could be a friend, it could be a husband, it could be a spouse, it could be your children, right? Whatever it is, that there's nothing that can trump God. Nothing that, that
Exactly.
the infinite and eternal love of God is so great, even in
Mhm.
our pain, even in our misery, even in our ignorance, that God is always there. So
Yes, he
I'm
is.
like overflowing tonight as you share tonight with love and with joy and so
Mhm.
much. Like my sister, like my daddy took care of my sis. Like, and just
Yes.
to see you smiling today, like, wow. And thank you, God, for allowing me to be again a part
Yes.
of her journey, to
Yeah.
bring life and bring light into her life through you, right?
Yeah.
Through you. So,
He's definitely I had to learn that, like you saying, like it's God and it's always been God. I had to learn that because everybody that was dear to me, like he just like you I this is me and you. This needs to be me and you, because when I love, like I cling because I'm like, this is my security, this is my safe space. Like this is, I cling, and it don't matter if it's big sister, big brother, it doesn't matter. Like I cling to them. And so I feel like, I mean, the move had to happen because I'm not even gonna lie. Like I loved God, I knew God then,
you
but
did.
I was clinging to you. Like I was clinging to you, and maybe it was the God in you, the gifts in you that was there that you didn't even know was there, that my spirit could pick up on. Like I know there was something in you that I needed. Like, and it was the love of God
Yeah.
overall. Like you could be wild or whatever you claim to have been back there. To me, this was not like all crazy, but whatever. It was still at your core, you had the love of God within you, like just this purity, like that was there. And I just like, I needed that. And so God
Yeah.
just like, girl, you ain't gonna never see me if you just holding on to these people. So I'm just sliding them out the way. And I'm just like, "Ooh, what?" But it just made me realize I had to learn to trust God, especially in the season that I'm currently in. Like I'm
Amen.
transitioning. I feel a lot better. I
Yeah.
feel a lot better now because I don't want to say that God took everybody and everything familiar, but He shook the house up. And there was a time a few months ago, I'm like, I looked up and I'm like, God, I don't recognize anything. I don't
Wow.
recognize anyone. I don't know how to trust. I don't know like what is going on with my career. Like everything just looks so different, but I had to keep going. I had to keep going. And I'm like, God, how? How? I don't know what to do. I'm dying here. But it's like God was carrying me. Like I couldn't do anything. I was a mess. Like I was a mess, but God, the strength every single day, like God just granted me like the strength to keep going. And just looking at where I am today versus 2 months ago, it's just like, yeah, his grace is sufficient. Like because I'm
Yes.
like, no way. There's no way. I still love my how did I do this? How did I get out? And it's nothing but God, nothing but God. So I'm gonna uh I'm I'm trying to go back to where I was on my for my oh, I got the email about
Okay.
the
Yeah.
deliverance. I got the email about the deliverance and I immediately went home And I could have started that night. Like I could have started. I was so focused. I went in my room and I was looking at the email like, I ain't gonna miss nothing. My kids like, Mama, get out, get out. Like I'm trying to watch the videos. I'm like, no, I need to be ready. I promise you, I was so eager to start, and I was kind of like on it, like if I start right now in this moment, I'm setting myself up for failure because I'm not really prepared. Like when it comes down to like my house, I didn't have my water. I didn't have nothing, but my spirit was so like, come on, come on, come on, that I wanted to start there. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna give it a few days. I'm gonna make sure I have what I need in my home, so I'll set myself up for a success. And
Yeah.
it really, honestly, it was not hard to me. I ain't gonna lie, I was surprised that I had 21 days. I was like 21, bro. 21. Then it wasn't even the fact that it was 21. It was the fact that I could only drink water from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I think that was the biggest thing. I'm like, what I'm gonna do with my breath snake when I got that hungry breath? Because that is a real thing.
Yes, when you messaged me, I about died. You was like, what am I supposed to do about
I'm
my
like,
breath?
pineapple juice? I don't know. Like, but I got clients. I got clients. We gotta talk. I thought about like maybe if I play sick with a mask on.
Not play sick with a mask. My
I'm like,
Lord.
they would think it's like safety precautions because I'm like, there's no way. Like, I cannot talk to y'all. But it was actually it restored the love for journaling because that is something that I love to do that I forgot that I like to do. And
Yeah.
so just to like reflect after a long day. Oh, and there was this saying that I don't know where this came from, but I still have it hanging on my wall. And so I was doing a countdown. Like I was doing a countdown, and it
Okay.
says, what is, of course, 21. What is 21 days compared to thousands of years of bondage? I'm reading it. So, oh, there are generations waiting for you, Kayla. This isn't just about you, Kayla. But what fight for your bloodline and break free. And so I have it on my wall and I will read it every day. Every day I will change the number and I will record myself and sometimes I will be crying like, okay, what's 21 days? Because you like
Hold
21
on.
days like
Let me take that in. And because you ain't finna speed past that. Don't like what was it? Kevin Hart, like, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute.
right.
Come on again. Don't just speed past that. So I
I
like
was
that. Man,
I was on
I'm
the
over here trying not to
phone.
swirl and fall on the ground. Cause I'm like, what did you say? Say that again.
Okay, let me look at it. Okay, it says, what is 21 days compared to thousands of years of bondage? There are generations waiting for you, Kayla. This isn't just about you, Kayla. Break, what did it say? Oh, fight, fight for your bloodline and break free.
Wow.
Because when I would like I said that the first few days it wasn't hard, but when I realized like I'm only drinking water. Like you naturally think like 21 days is a long time, but 21 days compared to the thousands of years, like what is 21 days? It made it
Come
easier for me.
on.
It made it so much easier. Like 21 days, that's nothing. And so I started like giving myself like pep talks to where it's just like, if you knew that God had a huge, like a number on a blessing, a number on your deliverance. If you knew that there was a number, like why wouldn't you, like you would hold on, because sometimes we're waiting on God and we don't know how long we waiting, but I know at the end of this 21 days I am getting my deliverance, and so I'm gonna fight. Like that gave me the ammunition to keep going. I'm like, I'm not about to get tired, I'm not about to complain, I'm gonna drink this water. I'm going because I got a blessing coming in 21 days, I got a blessing coming in 19 days, I got a blessing coming in 3 days. Like, I was just like, the more it was going, the more I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Sometimes, like I said, I would have tears in my eyes, like,
Mhm.
man, because things just started manifesting, especially I started having dreams about me being angry and full of rage. And I'm like, God, that's not me. Like, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. And God, like, yes, it is. I'm like, no, not me. I'm not angry. I don't know what that is. So I'm still praying. Then one morning, it's funny now, but it was not funny. I was preparing my kids lunch for because I sent them to lunch. I sent them to school with lunch. I opened up that lunch box and I saw that they did not eat their lunch from the day before, and I lost it. When I tell you I lost it, like I was screaming to the top of my lungs. I came upstairs. I wrecked my room. I don't even know what it was, but it was like my chest was on fire. Like I felt like I'm not gonna lie. I felt like a demon. Like the way I was
It was a
screaming and
demon.
yelling and just girl, I was just yelling and screaming, girl, and I scared my kids. And I felt like when I went up in the room, like I was broken glass, like all in my room. And I went back in the room, and I felt like God was like, "Now about that anger that you talk about, you don't got." And I'm like, "Yes, God." Okay, like, because I'm like, where did that come from? Where did it come from? So it brought me to a place of like humility. I'm like, okay, maybe there is something there. Okay, God, clearly there's something there
Clearly.
that now I need to pray because you've been showing me. And I'm like, I was beating everybody up in my dream. I mean, I was tearing up heads, like screaming, yelling, like very it was very like grotesque, like slicing people's throats. Like I was just doing like some crazy stuff in my dreams. And I'm like, God, I am too cute for that. I don't behave I don't behave that way, Father. I don't. But he showed me that it was there. And so it's like just when I on those days where I feel like I don't have nothing to journal about, I would say that, about and some days were just really heavy. And then God would bring to me like, oh, you thought it was nothing, but here's this, like here's this, here this. And I'm like, you really in my business. You really in my business. But I finished I got through the 21 days, and I knew because there was the prompt to be like, hey, if you miss the second day, we're gonna have to start over. And I'm like, not me. I waited too long for this. Not me. I promise you it ain't gonna be me. So I didn't know how the phases were gonna go. And so I remember like after I finished that last day, I was like, I did it. I did it. Like I put my mind to something and I did it. And
Did it.
the next oh no, that I lied. That was not the next day. But yeah, I just felt this. I don't know. Like I guess I expected like after the fast to feel different. I did feel different, but I expected to feel like a significant difference, and I didn't. Like I didn't feel. All I was holding on to the fact that God was with me and I did it. Like I did it. God was with me and I did it. I got through all the days. I didn't have to start over. Like, no, like I did it. Um, so I was waiting, and I think it took like I was back crackhead behavior again, watching my email for phase two. Thank you. I was waiting again for my email, like, when is it time? Then I got the email like it's time for D-Day, and I'm like, D-Day. I mean, hearing all the testimonies, I could not wait to be like, I got a D-Day coming. Like, it's my
I
D-Day.
got a D-Day.
D-Day. And so, right. And so, of course, I do hair. I'm very busy. I'm very booked and busy. And so I'm like, Lord, I'm gonna have to cancel somebody's appointment because I don't care. When it's time for my deliverance, they're gonna have to wait. But and I people schedule out for the month. So my whole month is gone, like a month in advance. Like the whole tell me why on my D-Day, everybody booked around that day. Nobody booked on that day. And I was like, you ever. So I blocked it off. And I just was in preparation, like, nobody about to make me mad. Nobody about to. I was in a spirit of expectation. Like I
Yeah.
just expecting like this is gonna be big. I don't know what's gonna happen. but this is gonna be big. Like, and I'm just gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna hold on. Ooh, that last week was a financial hot mess. I just want you to know. About drained. Like I ain't have. I was getting so many return check fees. It was ridiculous. I ain't had no money. I ain't got no money. Yeah, that was me. Not a dollar. But I'm just like, no, because I know I'm close to my breakthrough. If this like this, like I know I'm close to my breakthrough.
Yes.
So it was D-Day. It was time for D-Day. And I woke up and I was just praying. And I had the day off. Of course, I had took the day off, but the D-Day
Yeah.
wasn't until like the evening. But I
Yeah.
just kept telling God, I kept hearing God tell me like just rest. Because it's so easy for me to get up and be trying to do stuff. And God was like, just rest. And so sometimes when I hear God like, was that me or was that you?
Right.
I think because I want to stay. I want to stay in the bed. So I don't know if you telling me to stay resting. So I
Or
just
am I
waited
talking to
for it.
myself?
Right, exactly. And so my kid's dad, he do not. Of course, my children live with me, so I do all the morning routines and stuff. Like I do all that. Me with him, we're not on speaker terms. He calls me early in the morning and it's like, "Hey, are you putting the kids on the bus?" And I was like, "No, I was gonna take him to school." He was like, "Don't worry about it. I'll pick them up. I'll take them to school." I'm like, "So I don't gotta get out the bed?" So I was like, "Okay, God was telling me to rest." So just doing that, like I prayed, like there was just this peace, like this
Mhm.
calmness, this calm. It was just like the most beautiful. I cannot explain the calmness that was just on me. And I just prayed and I was praying and I was crying. I cry a lot. I'm a cry baby, by the way. I'm gonna cry. Because it's just because I was numb for so many years. So that's my testimony. I'm gonna cry. If I need to cry,
Deliverance,
and
cry.
they don't even know. They don't even know how numb I was. So what y'all gonna get what y'all gonna get. If I'm crying
You
because
finna
I'm
get
happy,
these tears.
I'm
Cry
going to
me a
cry.
river, baby. Cry me a river.
Cry me, cry me.
Cry me, cry me
So
a
it was
river. Girl,
I just
get
laid down. I laid down in the dog. The most beautiful rest, like the sleep just came over. It was like, man, I promise you, I felt like I was just experienced a little piece of heaven. Like it was so peaceful. Like, and I'm like, I know I didn't slept in this bed many a times, but it just felt different. It just felt different. And so I was just on a mission. My kids, I'm like, y'all gonna, I'm done with the cut. My
Felicia
kids,
know what's
I was
going
letting
on.
I was letting them know, don't bother me. I got deliverance coming. Y'all going to bed. Like, I promise. Y'all not about to interfere with this. I love y'all, but I'm doing this for y'all too. And
Yeah.
that day before, when I tell you my family group chat was cutting up, like, oh my God. Everybody was arguing. They was cussing each other out. And I just entered and I was like, y'all just hold on. Just hold on. Cause just wait till tomorrow. Cause something coming. Y'all don't even know what I've been doing, but this about to free y'all too. Just hold on. Just stop.
Yes.
Stop. And so I mean we stopped, they didn't know what I was talking about. But I like an hour before my deliverance started, I put on my worship music. I was
Yes.
like, I remember reading like if you have unforgiveness in your heart, then that can interfere. And so I was like, Lord, come on, show me. Come on now. Show me what's up in there. I was trying to forget. I was thinking of any little thing. I forget about something. I taking the meat out the deep freezer. I forgive.
Not for not taking the meat out the deep freezer. My Lord.
I was just
Baby,
forgetting.
listen.
I did not want anything to interfere. Like I just didn't. Like, like no, like God, you know my heart. And so I just put on the worship
Call for
music.
a month for this.
I started, right. I just been drinking water. Like, it's time. It's time, okay? Y'all, but I came too far. I'm too hungry for this. I'm tired of beans and brown rice. Like, y'all don't understand. But no, I got my stuff together. I just set the atmosphere in my room. Um, I put my worship music on, and I just started praying. I just started praying because I'm like, I know how to usher the spirit in. I know how to do it. I don't need somebody to get online and be like, okay, this is like, no, I know how to do that because I've done that. Though doing that has got me through some of the toughest times.
My
So I'm like,
Lord.
listen, I don't know how this gonna go, but I know I can do my part by welcoming the Lord in the room. He gonna already be here by the time y'all come on, because me and
Yes.
him encounter. So, I did that. And then I met Alexis and I met Amber, and I was a little bit scared. I'm gonna tell you what I was scared that I was gonna be doing some type of exorcism stuff. And I was like, I'm serious. Like, listen, my kids, they know how to pray. They know how to call on the name. Okay. So I was like,
In Jesus' name.
I kind of want my kids to be here just in case. I'm like, blah, 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 just in case I start bending backwards. That's the most thing I was scared about.
Right.
I didn't know what that meant. Like, I didn't know what that was. I'm like, Lord, that's the only thing that
Lord.
I was scared about. But we got going. I don't I don't know what I didn't know what I was expecting, but I just kept remembering, like, have an open mind, have an open mind, have an open heart. And I'm like, okay, God, I've been waiting for this. And so I'm not about to have no type of resistance. I am
Mm-hmm.
not to try to fight whatever. And that did scare me too. She's like, if you feel your face contort, I'm like, contortions of the face. Hollywood be having you thinking like the most like graphic. I'm like, Lord, I don't watch scary movies, but God, please don't have me look. I didn't turn the mirrors around. I don't want to see. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. But it was actually a very smooth deliverance. Like
Yes.
it was a very smooth. The most that happened was, I was vomiting a lot. I was crying a whole lot, but that ain't nothing new because I'm gonna cry anyway. I
Yeah.
was vomiting. I did feel my hands like itching, like I felt myself kind of twitching and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this is the worst of it. I can do that.
Right. Like a twitch.
I can do that.
Right.
It's fine. But it just I don't I that experience, like, she started calling out well, first she had me to renounce and denounce some things.
Yeah.
And I had already had my list. I had already had a list. So I'm like, this is the stuff that I want to renounce and denounce. And
In
so I
Jesus.
started doing that. And she was just like, just take your time. And at first I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna fly through it and say these words. But it was just like, with each one I said, it was like a punch in my stomach. Like, I'm like, ooh,
Mm.
like it felt weird to like say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
instead of me flying down this list, like it's taking me like some time to like process what I'm saying. Like it's like I said it and then there's a reaction. Like, so I'm like,
Mm.
ooh,
That's
like
good.
why that make me feel, this made me feel different. I felt like this, like this triggered me, this made me cry. And so it's just knowing that they were praying on the other side of that. Like I wasn't praying by myself. I knew that God was there. Like I knew that he was there, and that fear left me, and I'm like, no, I'm safe. Like I'm safe.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. I didn't prepare my body for this.
Yeah.
I'm a bag of bones at this point.
Not a bag of bones. I cannot. Kayla,
I'm
listen,
prepared. I'm prepared.
my
I'm
audience
prepared.
ain't cutting up, but the two of us, man, I
I,
don't know what they gonna do. And this is normal for us. Actually, this is scale time.
really, I'm at home. How y'all doing? but yeah, so she started calling out the spirits that were like in me. And so a part of me in my mind like, I ain't got that, like that was like hearing that. But some of these things I didn't know about. Like she was like Leviathan, the mermaid, and I'm just like, let me find out I'm a mermaid. Like
Oh my God,
I was
Kayla.
I was
I'm
looking. Listen, after all of this was over, I was like, what is this? Like, what is Delilah? Like, what is Jezebel? Because when she said it, like, there was a response. Like, my body responded. But what really punched me in the stomach is when she said the orphan spirit. Like, and it was like so hard for me to say those words. I'm like, I know I'm trying to say, like, I renounced the, like, it would not come out. Like, it was like something pulling my tongue or something. Like,
Yeah, they try to stop you. They try
what?
to stop demons. They try to stop.
Listen.
I've had to jump in deliverances because they won't even they try not to let people get through those renunciations. And the
Mm-hmm.
demons, they like soon as you start to, because they know, right? They know they gotta go. But
But that
yeah.
one was that one was a strong. Oh, that was a strong one. That was a
Mhm,
strong one because I'm like, yeah, how dare you be on my mouth like this to where I can't talk?
mhm.
I'm trying to say it, but it was not coming out. And so once I finally got it out, I cried. Like I was really like crying. I'm like, what is this? Like, what am I feeling? And I just felt like a little girl. Like I just felt like a little girl. But you know, all of this stuff was like coming up and I just like I said, started like vomiting and vomiting and vomiting. And that was it. Like Amber got on and she shared some things with me. When I tell y'all, oh, that this is gonna make me cry. My little personal note from the Lord. Oh my God. When I tell you, oh my God, I hold on to those words. I
Oh,
read those words all the time. Like when I'm going through a hard time, I'm like, no, like I'm a warrior. I'm strong. Like I repeat these things. I'm like, these are the words from God. Like God
yeah,
said this to me. And so what was so beautiful about this whole experience is some of those nights that I prayed, some of those nights that I journaled, I felt like God was so silent. I felt like y'all were silent. I didn't know what was happening on the other end. But when I got those notes, everything that I prayed about that I felt like I didn't get an answer, there was a bullet point answer right there.
look
There
at
was,
God.
I'm like, oh my God, you were listening to me. You were listening to me. But the thing that really shook me to my core was at the end, she was talking about God saying that he wants to hug me. And that just broke me down because I've had many a nights that I'm in my bed and I'm like, God, I just need a hug. I just need a hug. Can you just hug me? So that was so personal. That was personal. Nobody else know I be because I be silly asking for God for hugs. But the fact that he
That's
like
not silly. I
really
didn't ask God for
looking
hugs
towards
before,
you, I'll be like, come on,
and
Lord,
I
right?
got it too.
Yeah, you feel it. You literally feel it. And so when she said that, I'm just like, I was so giddy. Like I felt so giddy because I'm like, God, you be listening to me. You be hugging me, Lord. I just felt so giddy. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Like the
Yes.
peace, like I had so much peace that came over me. And I'm just like, oh my God. That was the best. First of all, that was the best sleep. I slept so good after that.
Mm.
But what I can say that I did not expect for when I was thinking deliverance, I felt like once I got up, I was gonna be done. I did not think it was gonna be continuous. So I'm not gonna lie, the enemy tried to play on my brain like 2 or 3 days later, and I'm like, why am I crying? Like I thought I got delivered. Like why am I crying? Not understanding that that's a part of the
Yeah.
cleanse, like it's coming out, and I've continued to have more and more deliverances. I had a deliverance Saturday at the
Yes.
daggone women's conference. Got me
Mhm.
hooping and hollering in a corner all loud. I was so loud and I could not stop it. But a woman came and she kneeled down to me. She said, do not get up. God said, do not get up until he releases you. I couldn't get off the floor. You know how you do
Mm.
push-ups and your arms were like, I tried to get up and I'm like, oh no, I ain't doing it. Let me just okay,
Yes.
Lord. Let
I've
me
been
lay
there.
back down. But once I got up, I said, oh yeah, I'm done. I'm done now. We good now.
In
I'm done
Jesus' name.
in Jesus' name. And so
Yes.
um that just God is good. I just this was the most unexpected. I don't. Whoo, God is just so good. Like the freedom I feel. But I share. Thank
Woo.
you. I shared with my mom. I did not tell anybody what I was doing. The next day, I talked to my mom and I'm like, Mom, I got deliverance. And this is what happened. In the middle of me explaining my story to my mom, she bust out speaking in tongues, crying on the phone. Just I was like, you got your deliverance too. You welcome. You owe me money. She owed me. Hold on, I'm sorry. My thing
No, you good.
Yeah, so my mom, she was just like, my spirit just agreed with that. Like it's like she couldn't contain what I was telling her and what I felt. Like I was explaining in detail the experience that I was happening. Like I was sharing my experience, and she just bust out speaking in tongues and was so, and all I could do is say, "Thank you, Jesus." Oh wait, can you hear me?
Thank you,
Can y'all hear me?
Jesus. You
Can
still
you hear
here?
me?
You were breaking up
Is
for a
it
minute,
working?
but you're good.
Okay, yeah, it says it. Okay, yeah. So my mom started like speaking in tongues, and so that made her like, you know, I wanna try. I wanna get deliverance. Like I feel like it was something like she got a piece of that. And
Yes,
so
she
it's
did. Of
so
course.
many people that I've been telling, it's so many people that don't know about deliverance. And I mean, it's people that love God that go to church and they like, this is a problem. I can't shake this. You need deliverance. You need deliverance. I feel like a salesman, you know how they used to go around with that Kirby door to door, you need deliverance. You need deliverance.
Yes.
Oh, you got a problem? You need to be delivered. You need to
Yes.
be delivered.
My God.
And so I feel different. I feel different. I feel good. Like I still have my moments to where
Yeah.
things try to creep up, but I pull my notes out and I be like, God
And
said I'm a good mama. God said I'm a
yes.
good mama. God said that I'm a warrior. I know I feel weak right now, but God says that He gonna teach me how to fight. God said I don't gotta worry about my heart because He gonna put it back together. He's gonna fix
Yes.
it. God told me to rest, so I ain't doing no hair for 3 weeks. God told me to rest. You got to book another day.
And if that's what he told you, you better
But
believe that's what he said and to do what he said because he's your provider.
I know, girl.
And it's a whole
Yes, He
new level
is.
of
And
trust he's going to take you to. That part.
you don't gotta tell me. You don't
That
gotta
part.
tell me. So physically I feel really good.
Wow.
But listen, I felt like all right, God, you must be really preparing me for a big old blessing because right after my 21 days, I had about a week until my church went into a 21-day fast. So I was like, you know what? I'm just never gonna eat ever again. I'm just never gonna eat. Say goodbye to chicken. I can't but ours was easier because I had to work a little bit harder for the flawed and free one, but
You were breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
I was already.
Oh, no.
Oh wait, is it breaking up again?
Yeah, it was breaking up real bad. It looked like you froze, though.
Hello.
I could hear you, but
Now.
wow. Hopefully it catches up.
Okay.
You see me?
It's,
You're still breaking up, but it looks like it's trying to catch up a little bit. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear her or see her? I can't hear anything now. Oh, I see you. Look at your face. Okay, I think maybe you back now.
okay. Is it back now?
I think no. It's still delayed a little bit. I see you doing this now. My Lord. So Tanisha said you're frozen. Yeah, still a little bit delayed. No, 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 no. Okay, can you hear me? Oh no. Can you hear me, Caleb? I'm wired, so I guess we were lucky to have made it this far. Let's see if your computer will pick back up so that we can continue and prepare to close out. I still see you. Uh-oh. I don't know what that was. We'll give you a second, Janelle, if you'll talk to her backstage and let's see if we can
Hello.
take her down for a second until we can get her back up for the sake of the broadcast. For those that are still waiting and watching and listening, give her signal a second to come up. So prayerfully, prayerfully, we'll be able to get her squared away, and her Wi-Fi will catch up. But it has truly, I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's testimony with Kayla. I'm telling you, I could talk to her all night long, like honestly and truly. She's such a joy and such a pleasure. And I enjoy just the transparency because, as you know, how I am, I'm very transparent. I love when people give their testimony and they really share just the real raw and real authentic truth of who God is and what God has been to them. And so it's really how we help to get others free. Tanisha said this was such a great testimony. It's so fun to listen to and watch. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad said it was crying, laughing, wanted to pray in the spirit. Listen, so many emotions. I'm over here trying to keep myself together, if I could just be completely honest, because I've teared up a few times and just really struggled myself with just hearing, because it's so personal for me because of my relationship with her over the years, but just allowing God to just really have his way and just seeing it front row and center. So if you're here with us again, Kayla, it looks like it's trying to get itself back in place. But I was speaking to our guest in the chat, our ministry guest, and others. Hi, Tori. How are you? I'm glad you made it tonight. And so they were talking about all of the emotions and all of the emotions and all of the feels that they had listening to your testimony tonight through your transparency, and all that you have shared tonight about what God has done, and how your deliverance has made such a been life changing for you. And so it looks like we're still having some issues. So I pray that she'll be able to make it back. But if not, we'll just prepare to close out tonight, our tea and testimony. And she said, "Oh, I see a message here. It says it's messing up again." But I just want to thank all of you that come on here and those that have already come on this show and given your testimony here. It's so important for the people of God to hear, as everybody has their own individual story, and all of the things that are a part of why they need deliverance and why they receive deliverance, and of course maintaining your deliverance. And so there's an opportunity to always speak to every phase and every part of that process. And she's taken us pretty much all the way through the entire thing, from what she experienced in preparing for deliverance. She said like a year to 2 years, before she even felt like she was ready. And so there's a lot of people that feel pressure to get their deliverance because they're trying to see something or experience something, or be see some resolve in an area of their life. instantaneously, not knowing there's something she touched on, that this is generational. This is thousands of years of bondage. And so one day, one prayer is not going to be the only thing that's going to cut it, right? There's no magic pill that you swallow, there's no special prayer that you pray. But it's a series and a course of events, and it is a process. What she said, just last Saturday, she received deliverance, and this has been beyond D-Day. And so, if there's anything that I would like to speak to or touch on tonight, that's one of the things I do want to make mention to, as there's many things I can make mention to, is that it is truly a process, and we must be patient in that process and allowing God to reveal, whether He's revealing through dreams or whether He's revealing just to us in our prayer time and our time with Him. And there's a lot of things we want to be like, that ain't me. I'm good in this area. And He's only showing you so that you can be free, right, from the bondage and from the oppression and some of the things that may not even be connected to you. It just may be something that maybe a family member experienced, or one of your ancestors or forefathers may have opened the door to, that you didn't even know was there. And so God will reveal it. He'll show it to you so that you can do whatever is needed to receive the deliverance that He desires for you to have. So, glory be to God for sharing. I see Kayla's back. I see Kayla back. Are you back with us? Are you good? I don't know. I see you, but I don't hear you. You're not on mute, are you? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. So if it allows you to catch up and speak again, we will. But I can go ahead and close out. Thank you, Kayla, for your testimony. I know that these technical difficulties are not, yeah, she can hear. These technical difficulties are definitely not what we desire nor expect, but it happens. So, no big deal. So, I love you so much, sis. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you from now to and through infinity and beyond, like Buzz Lightyear says. But you know that you will always have my heart, just as you did the day we met, until the end of time. So nothing's going to change that. If anything, I'm glad that I'm able to partner with you on this side of being saved. And I loved you then, and I love you now, and I always love you. So thank you for sharing your testimony and all that God has done in and through you, and even with your mother and your family desiring deliverance. So continue to be that vessel for them, to educate them and to pray for them, to continue to help them with their deliverance. So God bless you, sis. I love you. May God keep you. May God cover you and your children all the days of your life. And I pray that everyone here that's watching has enjoyed your transparency tonight, but that it's also blessed them as well. So good night. Thank you for coming to the place and space where you're never too flawed to be set free, because you are free and free indeed. Thank God. Thankful to the Lord that you are free and free indeed. So if you feel like you may be one that's a candidate or desiring deliverance, you can go to our website at theflawedandfree.com. That's theflawedandfree.com, and you can go to the deliverance tab, and you can then download an electronic application, the one that she spoke of. I always ask people to sit with the Holy Spirit in filling that out in its entirety, to take your time in completing that application. Don't rush through it. We can tell when you rush through it, but nonetheless, we pray over each application and give it to the Holy Spirit, and He gives us the approval for those that are prepared and ready for deliverance or not. So if you've received a declination, it is not because I don't want to see you delivered. It is something that the Holy Spirit is saying to us. So I highly recommend people to go and speak to God and pray about it, and to wait on the desired time, wait on the appointed time for your deliverance. It is not because God is withholding it or trying to keep it back from you. There may be some things He wants to deal with you face to face before you can actually receive and go through the process of deliverance, because it is quite a crucifixion of the flesh, right? And so so you must be prepared. Her story, not everybody's that prepared. Not everybody's that hungry for deliverance, right? They just want to just a quick fix and they want to walk away. So the reason why she received the degree of deliverance that she did was because of her tenacity, her passion, her zeal, and her desire for deliverance. So if that be you and you want and you desire to seek out this ministry for deliverance, please, I see that it's been put in the chat. I see a link put in the chat for deliverance. You can go there and fill out an application. So God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I'm gonna let you guys go. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. Good night. I'll see you guys out there for Tuesday night prayer. We'll be here on Tuesday night to pray at 7 p.m. next week, Central Standard Time. God bless you. I love you and good night.